In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to build up your business credit for your new home care agency. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Scott McKenzie, and I'm the owner of a home care agency called Golden Age Companions. We've been incorporated since 2011, and I also have a company called Home Care Agency Blueprint that helps you start, scale, and grow your own home care business, and that is not a franchise. So jumping in here, and I'm really speaking from experience here of running a home care agency for over a decade. When you're looking to build your credit, initially when you incorporate, it takes just like the general rule of thumb is the day that you incorporate, say I'm going to use for layman's terms, January 1. Unlikely that if you apply for a business credit card or a loan or something like that within 6 months, then you're not going to be approved. So number one, when you incorporate, that means you get an EIN number. So that is a federal tax ID number. That is basically your unique social security number that is for your business, whether it's a corporation, an LLC, a partnership, a sole proprietorship, etc. Once when you establish your company, it's at least 6 months to wait. And then post 6 months, I mean, I've seen approvals from our students like 4 or 5 months, but post 6 months, it's usually about that time, you can start applying for some type of credit. Likely you're going to be getting, some offers in the mail. So like, Bank of America or whoever you bank with, you had already opened up a banking account generally in January. And by the way, with my home care agency Blueprint company, we help you go through this program to set up all this stuff. So we guide you on incorporation, depending on what package you choose, we do it for you. And then we also have a way of how to choose the right bank and set up the bank account and stuff. But say in January, you set up the bank, and then you would probably be getting some offers, some either credit card offers affiliated with that bank, or you might just start getting other random credit card offers from like Citibank or Capital One or Amex. Amex seems to be a big one that they like to send offers. So they might even send them before the 6 months, but I always like to leave that as a rule of thumb. Now, in regards to building up your business credit, you do want to apply for some type of a credit card is the easiest thing. Most likely you're not going to get a loan like, a short-term loan or any other type of loan, post 6 months. They want to see that a business has been in business for at least, it's really like 2 years. A year very minimum, but and again, guys, I'm speaking from experience here, so I'm not saying that this is exactly black and white. I'm just sharing with you my experience. So post 6 months, you can apply for a credit card or two. If you don't get approved right away, just wait till maybe that year mark and apply. But then you can use that credit card to pay for all of your expenses. So like if you're buying leads, if you're paying for directory listings, like your VoIP phone system, your CRM or your scheduling software, there's ongoing expenses that you have when running your home care agency. And, like a key little tip here is like, for example, American Express, they have a very good platform where, they're catered to businesses. So you can run all of your expenses through there, and then they'll categorize for you how those expenses, like what categories they're in, and you can see on a snapshot what your bank statement says as far as like where you're spending the money. I know like one of the first American Express cards that I got for my home care agency, Golden Age Companions, was the one that I believe it was a gold card. It was the one though that you have to pay it off in full every month. So that was fine. I liked it because I was able to you can choose what category. There's like 4 different categories to choose from each quarter. You can rotate it of where you want to get like the 4 or 5 times the points. And I chose advertising because I was spending quite a bit of money, like $4,000 or $5,000 a month on, Yelp and buying leads. I had to call Amex to ask if that qualifies for advertising. So, I was able to get those points. And I know some of you have like seen my intro video asking like, oh, like I see like Scott travels a lot. And to be totally honest, like most of my travels were paid from my credit card points, because there's so much money that's run through this business. It's just the points rack up. And if you do it smart, then you can be able to use those points for airline, tickets and hotels and stuff. And then the other kind of like nugget I'll share too is Capital One is the other card I really like is Venture, and they give you 2 times the points on unlimited spending. So once when you're really ramping up and say you're spending 10, 20, 30 grand a month on all these expenses, which is very possible if you're bringing in a couple $100,000 a month revenue. If you're getting 2x the points on say 20 grand a month, that's a lot of points. I mean, you're basically going to be able to go, book a flight to Europe a couple times a year pretty much. But yeah, so that, that really adds up. And so back to as far as like when to apply and establish your business credit, the short-term answer is definitely start with credit cards first. I wouldn't recommend pulling out any like major loans upfront, especially if you don't know how you're going to allocate the money. You don't want to pull out a loan and then like spend it on marketing or advertising that didn't work, and then all of a sudden you're paying back this loan, especially if it's one of those shorter term loans where your interest is super high and stuff like that. So kind of like stay away from that, stay clear from something like that. The credit card is ideal, and then just paying it off in full every month and just monitoring it. And then, yeah, that's how I'd recommend doing it. So those are my tips on, building up your business credit. I wish someone had told me that, from the get-go, because I know that like I actually got a handful of credit cards after about like 6-7 years, and then I noticed the credit really started build up. But at the very beginning, I just, I didn't know exactly how to go about like building up my credit from the get-go. So as soon as you can get that first credit card, do that, because that's gonna build it up. And then the last thing I'm gonna mention is there is Dun and Bradstreet. Some of you have heard of it, Dun and Bradstreet. They have what's called a Paydex score, Paydex score, and that is basically a business credit score. So it doesn't go on like the FICO where it's like 850 to 900 is the high end. It's on a totally different scale and has nothing to do with FICO. I think it goes up to like 100 and something, like 130 or 140, and it's calibrated way differently. But Dun and Bradstreet will try to sell you on signing up because they know you're a new business, so they're going to try and charge you $2,000 a year to have your Paydex score and whatnot set up. And that doesn't mean anything other than like later on when you have enough revenue coming in and you could pay for it and you get like one of their promo deals, like say it's $900 for the year, I would consider doing that, but do not do it when you're first starting out. And then if you don't get the Paydex, if you don't say sign up with Dun & Bradstreet to activate the Paydex score, it's not a big deal, because just by getting that credit card, you're going to be able to still be building up some credit. And then the very last thing that I'm going to say, I'm just remembering this, is when you sign up, and this is coming from experience, for those of you that are going to look into Dun & Bradstreet, I'm going to talk about from experience here. Do not, like if they are telling you, oh yeah, just sign up here, it's $2,000 for the year, and then all you have to do is report trade lines. Well, at the time, I remember I think it was like, I was driving like a Toyota Prius, and I'm like, okay, well, can I add that as a trade line on my lease? And they're like, yeah, of course you can. Well, it never reported. It's like a waste of money. So they say that you can add like Office Depot and Staples and all these other, vendors as what they call a trade line. And so, that's something that I'm honestly not like crazy familiar about, but I'm just speaking from experience. It just didn't seem to like do anything. What worked was getting the credit cards. Even if I know I paid only for Dun & Bradstreet. Personally, I only paid for it for like 1 year. Maybe like 3 years later, I paid like 1 more year, but my business credit was fine after, a few years of operating. So I didn't have any problem qualifying for anything. So, yeah, that, and then eventually, like you can, once when your credit's built up, you can even go, maybe get a car lease a car in your company name. That's generally very challenging to do. I know General Motors, like we got a Chevy Bolt for our home care business, and we were able to put that totally under our EIN number, which is pretty amazing. So, and that, if you can do that at some point, that will build your credit like crazy. If you can get an auto company to basically finance under only your EIN, and then like some auto dealers will try to say, well, yeah, we can do it. And then when you see the paperwork, they're going to try and make you co-sign. Nope. So that's something to negotiate with auto dealers. Is you want to, if that's your intention, is to only put it under your EIN for your business, just don't get the car unless they can do it, and then just wait. So I know I'm going off a little bit of a tangent here, but these are just things, nuggets that I want to share with you, and just add some value. So yeah, that's essentially building up your business credit, how to do that for your home care agency. And I thank you for being here today and supporting me and watching these videos. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And my link is below if you'd like to have a one-on-one consultation call with me. The Calendly link is there in the description, and we can talk about starting and scaling your very own home care agency. So keep in mind, all these tips that I do share, they are in our program, and you get the consultation from me, and we have a few head coaches on our team, plus our whole entire team behind that can guide you on what questions you might have as you're going through these processes. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video.